Hello, and welcome back to ShrubSMP Season 7. This is episode 27. And we are going to get started today right here back at my starter area village, where I spent a lot of time early on this season to get all of my enchanted armor from these villagers, and specifically inside this little shack is Mr. Menderer, and we need Mending book. In addition, we're also going to need a Unbreaking 3 book. And why is that, you say? Well, as you can see behind me, I am wearing my new Elytra wings that I got at the end of last episode from the end dimension when we finally found our first major end city with the ship and were able to acquire our Elytra, which means now we can fly all around the server and go back to the end dimension and fly around some more so that we can find some of those Nullscape custom biomes that we weren't able to find last time, but should be much easier traveling with our Elytra. So our first stop is to go inside and visit Mr. Menderer. There he is, still safe and sound here in his little cubby hole, and we know that they sell mending. We'll pick up one of those books with the emeralds and book that I have, and they don't sell any other books. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Menderer is the only librarian left that I had access to. But fret not, I know that a certain neighbor has some librarians, so what I'm going to do is just head right outside, and as a matter of fact, you'll notice that something is different here on the server, and it's because I've installed what's called the Bobby Mob. And right off there in the distance, I previously was not able to see that, and that is my neighbor who has the said villagers that I'm going to go take a visit to. We're going to see that not only is my neighbor a lot closer than I thought in the past, but as a matter of fact, the Dark Castle itself is just as close, because as soon as I get a little closer here, we should start to see rendering in. Yes, there it is, the Dark Castle location. It's a heck of a lot closer than I thought some of the other things, as will many things be, and it kind of makes traveling around the server really darn cool compared to just the limited render distance that we've had to rely on up until this point. But look at that glorious sight. So if we just hop on down and head on up to where the villagers are, we should be able to find the Unbreaking Librarian. Alright, well, here they are. It's a little foggy up here with this is right on cloud level. Look at that. But anyway, here is Unbreaking 3 Villager. We'll be able to go ahead and buy one of those books from them, and then from here, if we can make our way down through the clouds, we have to just find, oh man, this is just a mess. Where is it? Oh, here it is. The enchanting setup, which has the anvil. And then we can go ahead, if we take off our Elytra, put them into the anvil with the Unbreaking 3 book first. And then we'll go ahead and put the Mending book. And at the same time, we'll rename these to the Mark 6 Jetpack. And now when we take them out, we have them named and ready to go, and all we need to do then is heal them up because they're almost broken. We'll head into our cave spider spawner and then heal these things up, so now then we will be able to freely fly all over the place and probably head right back into the end dimension so we can look for those new biomes. And before we head back to spawn, a special shout out to Fun John. Thank you so much for having all of these villagers over here that now that we can see is so close to the Dark Castle location to be able to get that Unbreaking 3 book. And now it's time to head back, heal these things up, and get on to the end dimension. Alright, so before I go down to the spider spawner, just look at this. You turn around and you see this Bobby mod really is something. You can see the spawn town right there and the arena as well as my starter area. So that really is something in terms of what you can see compared to the way that it normally is with this new Bobby mod. Alright, and we're down here. The first couple spiders have queued up here waiting for me. What you do to heal an item is, if you're not wearing it, you put it in your offhand. As I said that, I could be wearing it right now, but we have it for demonstration purposes in our offhand. And you go ahead and get your experience by slaying whatever monsters are around, and you can see that the durability bar starts to go up a little higher. It looks like it's going to take another couple batches, so we'll be back after they come through and we have a fully healed Elytra. Alright, one more swipe should just about do it, and there they are, fully healed up and repaired. We can then be ready to get into the end and really explore what that end looks like. Alright, so to access the end, I think we're going to take the nether portal out by the Dark Castle, since we still have that little tunnel, which of course we're going to need to, hit the lava, which we need to then decorate and make really cool, but we'll do that probably in an upcoming episode now that we're going to be traveling to the end a little more often. But for the meantime, it's time to put on our Elytra. grab some rockets, and let's head back to the Dark Castle, because speaking of rockets, we're going to need a whole bunch more so that we can fly around without running out, because that's the last thing you want. As soon as you have a really nice set of Elytra that has the Unbreaking 3 and Mending Enchantments on them, the last thing you want is to run out of rockets, because you can't get them in the end at all unless you have a whole bunch in your ender chest. And there it is, the glorious sight of the two bases. Look how close together they are. Fun John's base and my Dark Castle. You would never know it without the Bobby mod. I'm really going to be enjoying this thing now that we have it installed on the system. But let's head on down here and see what we can find there. Alright, well, here we are. We're wasting no time setting our respawn there and just hop on into the end, and away we go. Alright, so we're at the portal. One thing you'll notice, there they are, our friends, or foes, so to speak, the Endermen. And we have fixed it here, and that's good news, because just in case we're here for a long time and we need some more experience, we can always, pay them a visit and, relieve them, so to speak, of their experience to repair our Elytra. But now, as you can see, we're flying high above, and we're going to head into this transport portal and then go looking for some of the Nullscape biomes. Alright, I've been flying around and I see a very small city structure there, but it is, of course, amongst a new biome. Well, this one's kind of similar to one we saw last episode, but I'm flying right past a new feature right here. These little orbs in the sky are made out of blocks that are not typically in the game in the end. So this is one of the things that Nullscape adds to the end, and it is, as you can see, it's an obsidian asteroid or something, how to rock in space, so to speak. And if I look inside, there is some blackstone that you could typically find in the nether, and this one doesn't have it, but I think some of the other... Oh, wait, there we go. This is a great source, instead of having to go into bastions in the nether, of these gilded blackstone blocks. Look at this. You can just collect them right here in the end while you're out doing your end raiding, and that is a really cool decorative block, which I know we're going to be using in the Dark Castle, because, as you can see, it's black with a nice gold trim to it, and that can be used to really spice things up in an otherwise dark and dreary color palette. But now that we've got those all collected, let's head right on back out and see what's in that city. Part of the reason you want to be end raiding is to get these materials, especially that are unique to the Nullscape data pack, and then on top of that, if there are any shulkers in this city. Plus I see end rods, so let's see if we can find any shulker box. Oh yeah, there's one guy up top, and there's definitely a bunch of end rods. So you want to be able to collect things like this. We can also collect the blocks themselves, but we can also build those at a purpur, which we'll deal with the block building collection shortly. But in the meantime, we are looking for primarily end rods and shulker boxes, and then any treasure that might be. When we come across our first treasure, we definitely want to check that out and see what types of riches are in that thing. But here he is for now. Let me see if we can get your shell. You got a shell for me? Yes, we did. We got one whole shell. So part of the thing is, I like to put shulker boxes in my ender chest, and right now, to date, from last time I was down here, I only have two shulker boxes. They're in my inventory right here. In particular, the ender chest has 27 spaces, which right now are pretty much full up by all the other stuff that I have, even more rockets and extra food. And we can then, once we have enough, 27 to be precise, we can go ahead and put a bunch of shulker boxes in our ender chest, and then have 27 times 27's worth of inventory space, and really go collecting as we find all these really cool blocks that we know we're going to need to build with. So I'm going to keep exploring and see the next cool thing that we find. Alright, so I'm up here at the top of that tower of the same city that I just found. As you can see inside, there are some chests, which means this is a city with loot. So we haven't seen one yet, and this is going to be the first one, but like we said, there is loot in amongst these cities, and this level in particular looks like there's some, and we got a little shulker to deal with. Oh, we got two of them. Oh, he's hopping around. They like to hop around sometimes. And, oh, now we're levitating. That's the way it goes. Now, as you see, also, my hearts are going down a little faster than normal because, unfortunately, one of the benefits to the Elytra is you get to fly around, but one of the downfalls is you lose a little more to armor because your chest plate, it takes the place of your chest plate. and therefore you got to be extra careful when you're fighting monsters in the end while you're flying around. But it's worth it, because as you can see, we got another Shulker shell, and we have plenty of food. Oh, and we got a Shulker head too. That's always fun. We have the heads add-on here on this server as well, so we'll be able to add that to our wall of heads. But before we go up there, of course, let's see what's in these. Oh, look at this. Like we said, usually just gold, riches, and definitely always, well, except the Curse of Vanishing, we don't want that. Really cool tools. There's always plenty of highly enchanted tools and armor and weapons up here. We're going to put that into the fireworks box and then continue to move on with our lives here as we go around and collect these items. Well, I didn't have to go far to find something new. There's the city I was just at, that little lone building anyway, and we have a whole nother city with a second boat. So if this boat wasn't one of the ones that me or any of the other players on the server is at, we can get a backup set of Elytra here directly from the boat. We get it much easier. We can just fly right in there. Just come on down and hop on in. So instead of having to tower all the way up, relieve this guy of everything that he has. Oh, good, a shell. Perfect. And take ourselves that backup Elytra. Now, you know, just in case there's any disasters, you never want to lose the most valuable thing that you just got. So that's why you put it in your ender chest, because even if you meet your demise here in the end, or even if you go in the void, you can always go to the ender chest. It's like its own little pocket dimension in that regard, and it keeps the items safe and sound. So you know what, it's just occurred to me that I've been going around here at the very early stages of collecting all this stuff that I have shaders that I haven't turned on, and the end looks really amazing in shaders. It doesn't really work out the best for recording, but in this position right here, look at this background we're talking about. Wow. And the generation of all of these vertical islands that are not typically done in the end, that are part of this Nullscape biome, it is really, really darn cool. So just wanted to turn those on real quick, give you an idea of the scope of what you can see between a couple simple additions like the Bobby mod and Nullscape. Wow, look at this. This is just really something else. But time to get back to, and we'll, it's easier to see the lights too, that we can collect these end rods and our friends here, the Shulkers. But continuing on, I just wanted to show that because, yeah, wow, that's really just striking. I am desperately trying to get this achievement, and here we have finally got it. It's a great view from up here. I've been letting all these Shulkers from the lower levels to these higher levels hit me with bullets, and as soon as we get control of ourselves, we'll tell you what that is. I think it's levitating up to 50 blocks. It was a lot harder than I thought it was, because you only go up so much. You have to kind of progressively get it. Where's the T button? There we go. So it's a great view from up here. Levitate up to 50 blocks from the attacks of a Shulker. We did it. So let's get back to things. We still haven't found another biome yet. I've been having so much fun in these cities, but for the time being, it's time to let this one go. I think I just got a few more end rods to collect, maybe a few more Shulker shells, and then we definitely need to find a biome before this episode's out. All right, I've been flying away from that city, and we have seen a first custom biome. So we're going to go down there and see what kind of blocks they are. Oh, look at this. It's called Desolation. There's actually a custom advancement with it as well. So we'll check that out in a second. Let's just land up here on the platform and check out that advancement to see what it says. Any Nullscape biome. Okay, so this is definitely the first one we've been in, and it looks like this is dead coral. This is all dead coral. And are these bone blocks? They're bone block trees with pale moss hanging there, I think. Yeah, is that what that is? Pale moss. So they've actually updated this for the most recent update of Minecraft. We have pale moss here in the end dimension, which in itself is a little strange. It looks like we also have some blocks from geodes that are found underground in the overworld. So let's see if there's any geode inside here. Just probably the... Oh, wow. I don't want to do that. That's a mistake. At least I have my Elytra. But, wow, this looks like, I guess, Desolation is probably a apt description because, boy, it looks spooky. Look, they got the particle effects in the air and nothing but gray and desolate. There's plenty of bone blocks around and then the occasional pale tree. Uh-oh, phantoms. I forgot about that. Phantoms also spawn in Nullscape in some of these custom biomes. Oh, look at this. We have some amethyst over here as well. Is this also... This is Shadowlands. Alright, so now we're getting into a couple new biomes at the same time. The Shadow... Oh, it's a very small one. But a good source of blackstone and amethyst blocks. Pretty cool. So we got... Oh, now this is what I've been looking for. I know, not the city, although the city's really cool too. We're going to raid this thing while we're over here. This is kind of really cool. Let's see if we can just hop up here on the side. I have heard and remember from the last time I played on one of these that out of all these bone blocks, there is... It's hard to tell depending on which perspective. But this is like a dragon skeleton just kind of like hanging out in the middle of the air out here. And I had always thought that if I could capture this... Maybe if I look on it from behind, I think that's where the perspective is. Just this way, yeah. It's kind of like an outline, but there's so much space in between that I had always thought that if I could kind of capture the essence of it and recreate it and fill in a little more of the space. Oh, there's another one up there ahead of me. This one's a little bigger, but to make it a lot more dense so that it looks like something, and maybe bring that to the overworld. So now that we've found our first couple biomes, we're going to continue to raid this city here and see how many more shulker boxes we can collect. Let's go visit our friends here and relieve them of their goods. Hey, buddy. Oh, missed him. Alright, so while I was fighting these guys off, this is the last specific type of generation that occurs here in the end in terms of treasure. There's actually an ender chest in the end, so if for whatever reason you're out here and you didn't bring one, or as you can see, it's my inventory. That's the way ender chests work. But if you never bought yours and you left it at home and then you find yourself in the end, well, you can always look for one of these cities and then relieve it with a Silk Touch pick, which we're going to do because I'm going to need one for carrying around in my base. You can see they stack, so you can actually bring them with you with then all of the items that are inside it. Alright, well, I have cleared out just about every end rod from this city, and the only thing left to do is to go get another spare Elytra. The boat is the last destination here, and I get those 2 end rods at the end of the portal. So let's just fly on in, grab this thing, and we'll take stock of our inventory because we may be done raiding for the day because we got plenty of goods, plenty of... Where'd he go? Oh, he's outside. Alright, well, let's just grab these for the time being, check our treasure. Yes, of course. Oh, look at this. Some diamonds. Very nice. And then take stock of what is in our shulker boxes, in our ender chest, and then decide that we might be done for today. Alright, so now it's time to check in with our boxes and see what all of this raiding has yielded us. Let's just slap them down on the floor right here. We'll actually put... well, for right off the bat, we have 5 ender chests, so that's really good news. And we have 2, I think there's a dragon head in another chest. Yes, let's see. So, end rods. We got almost 4 stacks of end rods, a handful of building blocks in the block chest over here. But over here in the valuables, look at all of these valuables. We have all kinds of fun and exciting valuables. We have a couple spare Elytra, which I said we're going to put into the ender chest. There's that extra dragon head I was talking about. So yeah, wow, look at this. 5 shulker heads, a bunch of gold, some diamonds, 57 shulker shells, divide by 2, and that's how many shulker boxes we have at this point in time. But we got 11 phantom membranes, so we could always repair one. All kind of items, armors, and tools. So really, really, really fun stuff here in the end dimension. We did find at least 2 biomes, and I'll see if I can find one more before we end it for today. Alright, well, I've been flying around just a little more, and I was about to give up, but as we will get into render distance here, we can see I found a new custom biome, and this one looks pretty, well, dark and dreary, but these purple blocks is what we're really interested in. Boy, this is going to be a fantastic source of crying obsidian. And look at the particles just flying all over the place out here. Let's see, let's check our HUD, and it's called the Crystal Peaks. That's kind of, I think this is 2 biomes. So this is Crystal Peaks, because it also has, of course, some of the... Hey, they're not collecting them. I'm able to break them? That's interesting. Is this my silk... That is my Silk Touch. Oh, well, that's weird. Okay, so you're not able to collect the Crystal Peaks amethyst blocks. Did I get any of the... I did get the crying obsidian at least. So yeah, this would be a fantastic spot for crying obsidian. I think, if I remember right, some of this dark stuff over here with all this blackstone... yes, it's called the Void Barrens. So here's kind of two custom biomes melded together. And as a matter of fact, I think this is about where we're going to wind up ending things for today. I might stick around and fill my inventory with this blackstone so that we can get back to the Dark Castle and prepare to build in the sky using these Elytra. Weren't able to do that today because of the amount of time it took out here in the end dimension. But since I'm out here, we're going to go ahead and turn the shaders on to see this last little bit. Whoa, as it loads in. Oh my goodness. Let's just catch a peek little spot over here. Nice. And wow, I mean, it's certainly, you know, a lot of barrenness, but boy, look at all those materials that this island is made out of. And then, of course, this city just kind of just parked up here amongst those crystals in the crying obsidian, which I'm just going to head right over there and start gathering because that stuff is really hard to find. But in the meantime, I want to thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.